All right, everyone. Now we have some leftist delusions to talk about. Link in the description, archived, of course. I read this, I was like, what the hell am I even reading, actually? Joy Reid is now blaming the fact that she's black for why she was fired from MSNBC. So, the most left-wing network in the legacy media, which practices generally wokeness more than anything else, decided to fire you. Was it because of race, or was it because you couldn't hack it? Was it because you simply didn't cut the bill anymore, basically? What happened is that Joy Reid's ratings tanked, and, because she's a broken clock, basically, right occasionally, like a Bill Maher, but without the talent. And on the other hand, basically the show devolves into nothing more than Republicans bad, TDS and stuff like that. Well, that's a saturated market. Here's the problem. You're competing with people with more talent than you, more rhetorical skill than you, in the same time slots, by the way, in some cases, who are saying basically the same thing. If you have five different networks that are all saying Donald Trump evil, it's point and grunt mode, as I like to call it. Donald bad. Orange man do bad thing. Well, I mean, if you got 50 different shows in the same time slot that are saying the same thing, it tends to water things down. So only those that are more rhetorically talented are actually going to rise to the fore and stay afloat. And then the market desaturates, and the people that remain, of course, they have it a little bit better. But Joy Reid is not rhetorically talented. She's not particularly well spoken. She's also not attractive. I hate to tell you this, but if you've got a face for radio, it does hold you back. I know this myself. I mean, I know I'm not exactly Adonis or anything like that. At least I'm not butt ugly, but Joy Reid is. And so Joy Reid got canceled from MSNBC, but she's pretending to be dumb. I have no idea why I was fired. I suspect it might have something to do with the color of my skin. Believe there are other individuals that are black on MSNBC, just saying. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the fact that your ratings plummeted. Well, if your ratings are slashed by 50% or something like that, then you might be on the chopping block. It's effectively, in some cases, almost at will employment. Do you get a golden parachute? Probably. I'm sure that they paid Joy Reid a bundle of money for ending the contract. But why would you keep her on if she's not bringing home the bacon, so to speak? Doesn't make any sense. But she's going to grandstand before her vastly far left audience and claim, at least insinuate, that it had to do with racism or something like that. Oh, these network executives, they decided to shit can me because of the color of my skin. You've been working for those same network executives for a prolonged period of time. I can't remember how long specifically Joy Reid has been on broadcast, but it's been a while. It's been many years. So, if they were racist, why did they hire you in the first place? Why did they retain you for so long? That has to do with your ratings, you stupid idiot. It has to do with the fact that nobody's watching you anymore. Because if they want anti-Trump content, and leftoids tend to want that sort of content, they're mainly watching people who are making TikTok videos or YouTube videos, or they're on Rumble or something like that. They're not watching you. They're not watching your fucking network. They don't give a shit about MSNBC. And MSNBC, by the way, probably, here's another prediction. The legacy media is beginning to collapse. It's quite clear. I think that MSNBC will be the first casualty. What'll happen is that they will no longer have enough audience. They will no longer have enough funds. They will fold, and then they'll be bought out by some corporation. Maybe Palantir can buy them or something like that. That would be, by the way, vastly funny. They'll be bought by some other company and absorbed. We've seen this before in the television world. We've seen this in the internet world, actually. Content creator effectively goes kaput and becomes part of some syndicate. They become a co-host on somebody else's show just in order to pay the bills or something like that. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. We're seeing a compacting of media, as it were. That is, that before you had dozens of, you say you have dozens of TV shows. But then the market begins to get watered down because there are so many different TV shows trying to hitch on to whatever the latest trend is. Well, they're all competing with one another. And a person's only generally paying attention to one of those TV shows at a time. Although my mom multitasks and for some reason has two shows on at a time, generally speaking. I don't get it. I can't do it. I wouldn't be able to pay attention to anything. But generally speaking, one show at a time within the same time slot. So maybe they watch the morning show, later on they watch, a soap opera or some shit like that, and they watch maybe the news in the evening, but they're only watching one of the news networks. The problem is that most of the news networks are saying basically the same thing. So within any given time slot, you have to have somebody more charismatic, more rhetorically well spoken than the other networks have. Unless you are completely out there. So you'd have like the Bernie Sanders network or something like that, the MAGA network. Unless it's a pure echo chamber, you're having to compete for independent minds, generally speaking, and some partisan minds within the same time slot. So MSNBC fired Joy Reid simply because she's not talented. And she can do the Hillary Clinton thing and blame everyone else for her problems, but really, in the end, it's her problem. You're the one that got fired. You're the one that couldn't hack it. You're the one that got cut loose simply because you weren't pulling in the ratings. That's what happened. It's as simple as that. That's about all. Peace out.